Wow. Wow. Let me just switch to right. Okay. Right. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right. I think I just did the just me right now real quick for. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Yeah. For some reason. Oh my gosh. My I cannot click on my OBS. Hold on. Hold on. Oh my god. Hold on. Okay, Fox.
Delete. D- delete that one. Delete the Discord one, but not the camera one, if you can. The source on the source. No, the other one. Yes, delete that. Okay, now expand that. Expand it. Okay. Just
Okay. Sorry about that.
All good. Almost there.
Hey, we good.
just try that.
Yes.
Hola, way.
Can you get me?
Stop streaming on Discord. Stop. Don't stream on Discord because that's gonna be overlapping on the stream.
All right. I'll apologize again ahead of the fact. I've got a German Shepherd I'm babysitting for my best friend in the department and my angry hag of an 8-year-old Shepherd who's tired of his 2-year-old bullshit. So,
Sounds about right.
yeah, right.
Hey, I can hear you, Chris. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Your audio is distorted on live stream. It seems like. I can hear myself pretty good. But
Oh, that felt good. No, you're good. And again, like I said before, I apologize if I sound like ass. I'm fighting a cold from my warm bed.
how dare you be sick?
All right.
Yeah, figure that one out. I get a cold from my warm bed.
I think we're there. All right. I think we're there, guys.
All right.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh.
Chris just went noir. He's black and white.
Oh, really?
There you go. Yeah.
I think Fox said to do something here regarding that.
Your grayscale.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Fox, you said stop streaming on
Yes. Stop Discord streaming.
Yes, that button right there.
Okay.
Now it's better.
Now there we go. I'm still black and white. You know, at this point in time, I don't care. I just don't care. Oh my god. I know, right? People already goes, Chris.
You should that old school Papa teaching us some lessons from the old days.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was the worst part is everyone watched that live.
Hey, man, sometimes some behind the scene footage ain't bad. A lot of people don't really know what goes on apart from the whole like car crash, police show up, things end. Like they don't see the gears turning behind the scenes. So
Right?
Yep.
All right. So, hey guys, I do apologize for being monochrome. I am not going to even worry about that right now. All right. So, what I'm going to do, let me see here. Let me just click on this. And, all right, let's see here. Where are we at with that? I do want to see something real quick. All right. Okay. Think we're good.
Make sure to subscribe to SWAT Theory.
oh no, get this
Yes,
out of here.
yes. All right.
I'm still fighting the whole I'm a fake, I'm not real, I'm not actually on a SWAT team. Blah,
Right?
blah, shit.
I still fight that.
Let's
Okay.
start to introduce ourselves.
So, all right, everyone. I do apologize. Okay, so let me start this off. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna mix it. I usually don't wear headphones when I stream. All right. Hey, hello everyone out there in YouTube land. Chris the Cop here. We had some technical difficulties. I first want to apologize for the late start. Unfortunately, I did not get off work at my normal time, and I subsequently got home very, very late this morning. And you guys are lucky because Fox Commander was blowing up my phone, and I finally heard it and looked at it, and it was 11 o'clock. And so here we are today. We were supposed to get up early. We were supposed to set all this up, so I wasn't monochrome. So I do apologize that I'm monochrome, but let's get enough of that. We have some special guests. This is so new. Fox Commander decided that he wanted to throw me a curveball and get a very special live stream going with Coffee with the Cop. And now today you're going to have Coffee with Cops instead of just one cop. So with that, I want to introduce my guests. We have SternalJet and we also have SWAT Theory. SWAT Theory has his own YouTube channel. So right now, I'm going to say it before we go any further. Head on over to his channel, hit the subscribe button and the like button. So give him some love, show him some love. Just as probably you guys were hearing just a little while ago, because we're doing with all the technical difficulties and all that type of stuff, that he said that he still struggles to this day, proving that he's a real SWAT operator. And I can tell you this much. In the comments that I deal with on my channel, I still have people that challenge me that I haven't done all the things that I have done, blah, 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 blah. And what people should know is that since we are active law enforcement and we're putting ourselves out on social media, there are people who could call BS on us. There are officers that I work with that they can easily call BS, and quite frankly, some of them join on Coffee with the Cop, and they can call me out right then and there. So when I tell a story, I'm definitely telling a story that could be verified. So, but we're going to talk more about that in just a little bit. But once again, hop on over to SWAT Theory, show him some love. But I'm going to let my guest introduce himself, and we're going to start off with SWAT Theory. So, SWAT Theory, can you tell us a little the Chris the Cop community a little bit about yourself?
Oh, Jesus, I walk up to the plate and you throw me a fucking curveball.
Right.
I probably should have asked. I didn't know if you were preferable profanity or not, but it's kind of in my vocab. Yeah, so I've been in active law enforcement since 2014,
Wow.
May specifically. I joined my SWAT team back in 2017. So this actually, super excited. I get my 5-year pin this year. I've been doing... well, we don't actually call it SWAT where I'm at, and I'm about to, if anybody's watching this that knows who I am or have any suspicions, I'm about to kind of dox myself. We call it the SRT, which is a special response team versus SWAT team, because, special weapons and tactics was politically too violent and whatnot, so we're going through that. I'm on Alpha team. I'm secondary breacher only because the guy ahead of me can bench press 450 pounds. I can only bench press 350, so I'll let the King Lion take that title. But no, I went to SWAT school in LA at the SEB Academy. I think my class was 130. Oh, excuse me, 137. I think 38. But no, for all the naysayers, I actually, when Chris reached out and I talked to him, for a second I was a little skeptical because it's the internet. Anybody could just sit there and type buttons and there was somebody. He kind of hopped in. I was like, hold on a minute. So we swapped some stuff back and forth. But nah, anybody who still sits here and thinks that Chris is talking shit, no, he's the real deal, man. We spent a minute talking about war stories. We sent photos back and forth from different call outs, different media angles and whatnot. But no, Chris is real. I'm real. And quite actually, I actually wanted to ask Chris a question. You're a lieutenant, and this is how many years have you been in command? Is it 20 years in command of your team, or?
No, I've been on the team for 22 years, but I've been the commander for 7 years. Actually, no, 6 years. I mean, 7 years coming up, but yeah, it was 6 years.
Not for real though. They say this shit, but fear the guy with the gray beard in the young man's game. That's some crazy shit to hear you. Which, again, talking about beards and whatnot, just gonna flex a little bit. There it is. But keep it for the guys that have a beard policy. Keep a trimmer in your pack, man, because you never know when it's time to CS the hell out of a house.
Nice.
No,
yeah, right.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like it gets high, man. Like it's just there we go. Yeah, it goes high, but no, keep that trimmer handy for those with beard policies, because you never know when you're going to lose the wife happiness on your face. But no, thanks for putting me in. I don't really know where to go. I've done wallbanger school, flashbang school,
Nice.
breacher school. Did LA's. I can't. Again, I never go into tactics and shit, but specifically
Right.
the SEB school. If you've done the SEB 80-hour class, cool shit. Great guys, great operators. Dale, random shout out. I know you're moving to the East Coast ish, where things make more sense, but sorry, had to get that dig in.
right.
But,
Right.
But no, Dale, if you hear this, happy that you gave us the K9 training. Happy that we saw how you can integrate K9 into SWAT. Awesome stuff, awesome guys. It was literally everything I wanted it to be when I grew up. And people always say, "Well, why's your name SWAT Theory?" Well, when I was in middle school, I knew that I wanted to be the guy that when 911 had to call 911, I wanted to be that guy that showed up to help the guys that showed up. And that's why I just never got rid of my name. Edgy, yeah, whatever. But, don't let your dreams die, and that's why it is what it is. But yeah, so that's me. I'll stop talking because otherwise you'll have me talking for a fucking hour. So,
No worries.
passing the ball.
Well, I want to get SternalJet to introduce himself. So, SternalJet reached out to me, in YouTube, and I asked him to come on over to Discord because he had indicated that he was a real Leo. And if, for those of you that don't know, Leo means law enforcement officer. It's just one of those terms or acronyms that we use. But Sternal's a real Leo, and as a matter of fact, Sternal and I are planning on doing some content creation together. He has graciously volunteered to help out with doing co-op on SWAT 4. We've talked about 0 Hour. Now that Ready or Not's out, so we are definitely going to be doing that. So hey, Sternal, why don't you tell us all about yourself a little bit, or tell us all about yourself?
Yeah, sure. But I think before I do that, the stream has some issues.
Oh, it does.
There
should be a full screen button, bottom right.
So I'll let that figure itself out first.
Okay, there. Right.
Perfect.
All right. Cool.
Okay. Yeah. So my name is SternalJet. I'm a police officer in Minnesota, of all places, and by any means, compared to these guys, I do not have the experience that they have. I'm a rookie, so I'm within my first year of being a police officer. So if anybody else is looking to get into the career profession, then I'd be a good resource. Obviously, every state has their own requirements. Like Minnesota, you need to have a 2-year degree minimum, plus your skills and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, so rookie police officer, and I'm still trying to find my way through the profession, but luckily I got good mentors such as, Chris the cop and people to look up to.
Oh, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah, but before I became a cop, back in 2015, I've been in the Minnesota National Guard for about 8 years in April. I enlisted as an infantryman, went through that kind of stuff, joined ROTC in college, and then I commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Minnesota National Guard in May of 2020. I'm actually in Fort Lee, Virginia right now, doing some training for the next 4 months, so that's fun. But yeah, I was a police explorer and all that fun stuff too. So if anybody has any questions about military, ROTC, becoming an officer in the military world of things, or even the law enforcement world of things, you can definitely feel free to hit me up. I do have a small followership of friends and family on Twitch, so I'll sometimes do some content creation on that if you ever have questions.
All right. So
So
so what's kind of interesting is with Sternal. Sternal's telling you right now that he's on first year and stuff like that, and you can. I actually, it's so funny is what's funnier is finally when I fixed my side so I could see everybody kind of thing, and I love SWAT Theory. He has his gun safe right behind him. It's like, yeah, rock and roll time. I've been looking at the chat, and some people kind of like asking, SWAT Theories wearing the balaclava and stuff like that. So I want to talk about the balaclava thing real quick, and then Sternal can definitely help out with a couple of questions regarding what what kind of differences with SWAT and stuff like that. And so two things I want to bring up is what he said about SRT and political correctness and all that type of stuff. So with that though, balaclavas were really popular when SWAT first came out. And the reason why was we wanted to keep ourselves anonymous. And quite frankly, even the internet back when I first was on the team as a medic, the internet wasn't around. I mean, that's how old I was. I mean, it was there, but it's not as prolific as it is today. So trying to find out who we were, it just was not going to happen. Now today, they can definitely find us. It's kind of a people thing. We have operators that wear balaclava, so it's just a personal thing. He has his reasons, and his reasons are his reasons. His reasons to wear a balaclava during the live stream are obviously he wants to protect himself and his family, especially today with doxing and all this type of stuff. So it's even more, I should say, I would give him the credit, I don't say the credit, but the bravery and Sternal as well to actually be on YouTube and so forth, because there are so many haters. As Fox Commander could tell all of you guys, I'm dealing with one right now, and we've already banned him in Discord, and he's in Discord jail right now. And he's
banned.
Oh, he's banned. Okay. The guy's just, I mean, you guys know I'm pretty friendly. I'm pretty not judgmental, but this guy's just a fucking idiot. And I don't get like that with too many people because I try to keep the channel friendly, but I'm getting to a point now where I'm just going to call people out. And you know what? If I lose subscribers, I lose subscribers, but I have to defend my occupation. I got to defend my profession. I got to defend my brothers and sisters. Now, going with that, SWAT Theory had said that his team's called an SRT. This is what I hate. So was my team. When I first started, it was called CERT, Special Emergency Response Team. And we wanted to change it to SWAT because that's what it was. It was SWAT. But the chiefs of police were like, no, SWAT. He said it. He goes, SWAT's too, it's hardcore. But it's like, it's violent. A flippin' SWAT team. No, the department could call it whatever they want to call it. But when the people see the black trucks pull up and the guys jump out in tactical gear with rifles slung, they call it a SWAT team. They don't go, oh, wait, is this a SWAT team or is this the SRT team? They call it SWAT.
Is this the mental health crisis unit?
Right? And SWAT. Or not SWAT, yeah. SWAT Theory, right? I mean, people call you guys SWAT. I mean, if you guys are doing a training day and you guys decide to go get something to eat and you walk into a local establishment, don't people ask you, hey, are you on SWAT, right?
Oh, no, there is no doubt. Like, I've got to stop stuttering here. So for my city, if we walk in, it is very apparent. God, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry.
We walk in like the local subway. Like we walk in with Cry Precision pants, the fucking knee pads, everything's in the back. The Bearcats park somewhere. 18 guys bail out because they don't want to drive their personal cars because gas is expensive now. We go inside. Like, it's to the point where the cashier's like, are we being robbed and we don't know? No, everything's fine. We're just hungry. We're here for lunch. We've got another 4 hours. Just start banging out them sandwiches. We're hungry, ma'am. I'm sorry, but we've been just working today. He's absolutely not wrong. Like, you can tell a TAC officer from another. I mean, first of all, their pant size isn't 48 double wide. Sorry, other guys. Not apologizing, but sorry. All the guys are fit. All the guys keep themselves in check and all that good stuff. But you're absolutely right. There is a big demeanor difference between like regular patrol guys and SWAT guys. And to be honest, we do kind of hate it. Actually, this is going to be an interesting part. I was told by my father, who was a deputy for years in the county we grew up in, that SWAT actually stood for Special Weapons Assault Team, I believe. But because politics got in the way, he's like, "Oh no, we can't have." Again, I've got to like Wikipedia this stuff and look back and all this stuff. But I did look it up, and it is true. They said Special Weapons Attack Team. That's too aggressive. Yeah, you're right. What about Special Weapons and Tactics? Oh yeah, that's totally fine. That's whatever. But you're right. There is a big difference between patrol and attack units and the things in between. But even back then, like in the, let's see, it was after the Texas
Yes.
University shooting when SWAT was originally kind of implemented in departments, and then the Las Vegas bank robbery was when things really got amped up as far as equipment stuff goes. So yeah, even back then, politics was a huge part of it, and it's just looking back and going, Jesus, that's impressive. They actually adapted and moved. So to kind of head the herd off at the pass and go, well, if they think SWAT's aggressive, we'll just say special response team. Yeah, they won't get upset about that. And but it's the same thing. You'll have you'll have ERT, SRT, SWAT, IRT, incident response. You'll have all sorts of different nomenclature, but it's the same thing. It's guys that are like trained above the other guys to handle, contain, and save lives as best as we can. I mean, as I said in the Azil interview, a lot of guys know of, SWAT isn't the fucking government go-in assassination team for gangbanger number one. It's literally a life-saving entity. We believe in justice at a higher level, and we just have the equipment and the training to go, okay, this guy's dangerous. He might try and kill people. We've got to do this. Let's bring him to justice so he can go to a court that's of his peers and blah, 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 and get him in. And we're not like the Black Hood assassination squad. A lot of people think that we are. We're not the 5-star in GTA. We're just going in, trying to make sure that people, A, don't hurt or kill others, or hurt themselves or kill others, and B, bring people to justice that actually need to be brought into a court and, not just kick the door, shotgun to the face, problem solved. Which you can have your opinions on that, whoever you are. But anyway, back to Chris.
So, okay, I want to throw that out there. And someone actually threw us a super chat and asked a question. Is there a difference on between SWAT and Special Forces? So before I get to that question, though, I want to get to SternalJet. Sternal, given the fact that you're on the East Coast, and of course, I know you haven't been law enforcement on the West Coast, let me ask you this. What drove you to want to be a police officer? I mean, because I tell people my reason why I became a police officer, which I never wanted to be a police officer. I thought I did when I was 13 years old as a police explorer, and then I subsequently left 2 years later. But, and then there's obviously, people have heard my story, but there's a chain of events that happened, which I came back 10 years later, and here I am today. But what was your driving force? And then after that, okay, we'll go with the driving force, and then I'll do my follow-up.
Right. Yeah. So Flacco, we heard your question. We'll definitely acknowledge it in a bit. But what drove me to be a police officer goes back to me growing up. So growing up, I had a mom and a dad who didn't get along very well. Ended up in divorce, but in that time that they were together, there was a lot of times that law enforcement would be called to our home, and then I would be dealing with them directly as a kid, as a 4 or 5-year-old kid. You don't know what's going on between mom and dad, and all you got as a positive role model in a way is the police officers, because they're going to come in, they're going to, take care of what needs to be done, but then they're going to come up to you as a police officer, and you're just a little kid, and they're like, hey, we're here for you. You know that they're trying to do the best that they can do, given the circumstances and facts that they have. So I kind of remember that. And then growing up, it's just kind of been like, obviously parents ended up getting divorced and all that stuff, but I just always kind of remembered that. And then eventually it just kind of ingrained in me as I was going through, middle school and high school. I was like, yeah, I remember those times growing up upon self-reflection where the cops would come in and deal with things on people's worst days of their lives.
Right.
Not just the divorce thing. Eventually my dad remarried, and I had a stepmom, and her mom, my stepmother's mother, used to live in our basement because she was a vulnerable adult. but she eventually passed away. And again, when she passed away in our basement, cops came because they had to do their investigation, bring in the ME and all that stuff. But they come in, they bring in the chaplain, and they give you the people's worst day of their lives, the hopeful, calming presence, the best they can do it. So it's that kind of stuff that I remembered, and I knew that I wanted to help people. So whenever a person asks you if you're interested in law enforcement, why do you want to be a cop? You cannot just say, I want to help people, because that's the answer everyone else is going to give. As a rookie, a year ago, I was interviewing, and I'm looking up all these YouTube videos of behind the badge or earning the badge, and they're all saying, don't just say you're going to help people, because duh. You have to make sure that you can hook it to some kind of emotional experience that drives you, why you're doing the job for the right reasons, not just going in because you want to look cool and have a gun. That's not the right reasons. So that's a lot of the driving reasons, Chris.
Oh man, that does.
Can I feed off that?
That
was a beautiful answer. No, that's amazing. So, fortunately, at the time, I didn't know when I got recruited. The guy that was interviewing me was the SWAT commander. He's like, "What do you want to do?" And I looked over, and he had the Black Hawk, the guy with the RAM, like up in the air, and it literally said "knock knock, mother," and it had it censored out the rest of the way. And he was back, and he said, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "That guy's job. I want to be the guy that when they call us to do that, I want to be the 911 to 911." And of course, I got lucky. He's like, "Hell yeah, we'll take you because you've got like a fucking 30-second, 300-yard sprint or whatever." All that shit goes on. But no, you are absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. It takes a very special breed of people. And I know they say don't say you want to take the job to help people, but if you're gonna do the job, my opinion of the matter is you want to help people in the way that the average citizen cannot. Like my wife learned very quickly when we were married, or well, when we were dating into the marriage, don't ask me about work because I'm not going to tell you the truth. Like, you don't need to hear the part where I tell you that a kid, a 17-year-old decided to underage drink, race a train and lost. You don't need to hear what I did to recover his body so his parents can go, that's my kid, even though the head's no longer attached. Like, that is absolutely like a very peak worst of the worst kind of observation for this job is when you take it, you are absolutely helping people that you are bound to do. I mean, this falls into the conundrum of the Supreme Court says, well, you don't technically have to help people or interview. Get that out of here. You take it because it's in your blood that you want to help people that can't help others. I mean, I'm 6'3". I tower over a lot of people, so when I show up on a lot of calls, it's like, and the problem's ended right now. So I mean, guy beating his wife, in either call, it's not a problem, but you see the things you don't want to see, and you still have to, like you said, with your parental relationship not being great, you have to step in as that figure and take a knee with even kids and go, hey, look, I know mommy and daddy aren't getting along right now, and right now daddy has to go to timeout. And while he's in timeout, I want to explain to you why he has to go to timeout. He did some things to mommy he's not supposed to do. You can't put hands on you can't smack a friend in your class, right? And you have to explain this stuff to kids. Otherwise, like you said, all they see is law enforcement coming to their house and going, you, and they just snatch somebody up, drag them out, put them in handcuffs, and that's the end. Like, it takes a very special kind of person to have to go violent, non-violent kids, and then stop and go, okay, everything that's happened, I need to explain to this person who's going to grow up eventually be part of society, obviously, and explain why this stuff happened. You're absolutely right. It does take a very unique breed of person to go incredibly, or I think it was Jocko Willink that said, maximum amount of violence in the shortest amount of time to end the problem. And then you have to take that gear shift and throw it back into first gear and go, okay, children, we have to deal with them. Like, it's a very unique breed that you can't just soldier through. And I think you said you're in the Air Force, so it's a lot of it's a lot of taking that mentality, and you've just got to make it malleable, man. You hit the nail on the head.
So with that, Sternal, you're
sorry.
Sternal, you're a veteran, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I would love for you to answer Flacco's question. The difference, because I mean, I know you're a patrol, but I think you probably would have the best knowledge on the differences between a military, special forces, and a SWAT team.
Absolutely. So, Flacco, to answer your question, and thanks for your patience, by the way. So, obviously, we talked about SWAT, Special Weapons and Tactics, Special Weapons Assault Team, CERTs, all these different things. If you think about the games that Chris plays, Ready or Not, SWAT 4, when everyone receives very special training to go into those situations as a SWAT, CERT, whichever team, to preserve life and property, right? You're going in there with a specific set of goals to, hey, there's a hostage situation, barricaded subject. We're going in there to use the less amount of force as possible because we want everyone to survive, right? We want everyone to come out of this green, even the suspect. He's got stuff going on. People make decisions when they're emotionally charged, all right? If you don't have any kind of mistakes in your past where you made a mistake off of an emotional decision, then you probably have, because everyone has had those set of experiences. And as a SWAT team, you have to understand that we're not going there to bust open the door, and we're going in with lethal only to take out that suspect. No go. Now you look at the military special forces. Now necessarily that's not always the case either. We're not always going in there to kick down the door and kill someone, like you think about Osama bin Laden, right? In 2011, right? Now there was a very specific mission there where they are all trained to go in there and follow their specific rules of engagement, whatever that mission was set out to be, whether it's capturing a high value target, whether it's neutralizing a known terrorist or suspect. But they receive far more extensive training in the more, what would you call it, aggressive terms of things, and with a different type of atmosphere or relationship with, international kind of dealings. So SWAT, it's we got to be careful because we're not trying to harm our own citizens. We're trying to preserve everyone. But a special forces team, they're receiving training based off of a wide range of SOPs and rules of engagements. It could look at, obviously we always want to try to capture anyone alive because it sucks killing people, right? We don't want that. We don't want people to die. Contrary to popular belief, we want everyone to live because it follows us. Even special forces people, the things they saw. Sure, a lot of people might join special forces with the known interest of being like, yeah, I want to be cool, I want to kick down doors. But I guarantee you, every single life they happen to take, they're still going to remember it. So it's a very loaded question and a very loaded answer, and I hope that makes sense. But to summarize and put it concise again, SWAT, they're doing the local thing. They're receiving training on preserving a lot more life and property. They're not trained to kill. They're trained to preserve and protect, but to kill if necessary.
Right.
To neutralize a threat, right? And I don't like using the word kill, but it
is what it is.
Neutralize the threat is basically if it's a side effect of kill, kill is a side effect of neutralize the threat. I mean, you have to hit until the body shock makes somebody unable to attempt to take your life. It's a byproduct that you can't get around.
Yeah, and maybe kill is neutralize the threat's the better word. It's the rookiness.
Well, no, and they've even as a 25-year veteran, I'm using we neutralize the threat because of the society that we live in. I mean, all three of us know that people are waiting for us to say the wrong thing or take something out of context so they can attack us. I mean, and we all three know that. So we use the words.
First Amendment honors.
right. So we use those words. I do want to address a couple of things real quick. Great explanation, Sternal. So I'm looking at the chat right now, and some people are talking about like the stuff that gets confiscated. So when law enforcement does raids and we confiscate and all this type of stuff. That stuff is... So let me go back real quick. What we do in California is different from what someone does in Texas and what someone does in Minnesota. People don't understand that every state does its policing different. And even within that state, policing is done different. A prime example is I brought this up. What they do in San Francisco, we do not do in Los Angeles, and vice versa, even though it's the same penal code system, the same criminal justice system. Policing, tactics, policies, procedures are not the same, and hence the reason why we do have problems throughout the United States when it comes to policing. Unlike the military, and Sternal talked about it, specific missions and that type of stuff, you go to boot camp. And then when you go to boot camp, you learn how the Marines do it, you learn how the Air Force does it, you learn how, blah, 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 blah. And then you go to your specific MOS training and a lot of that stuff. But their system works. People have talked about doing that in law enforcement, but we don't quite know what's going to work. Because you got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, there's 750,000 of us. And what works in Texas may not work in California and blah, 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 blah. But going back to one of the questions asked about confiscation of evidence. We used to have police auctions in Southern California. And I can't speak to everywhere else. I'm going to speak to what I know. We got out of that business. What we do today is evidence that is going to be disposed through court, stuff that is never collected, all of that stuff. Once we determine that it is no longer you need it for anything, we send it to an auction house. We forget all about it. They do whatever they want to do with it. I think it's called property something. There's a website. It's called like police property or something like that. That's where it goes. So we forget all about it. Now, as far as narcotics, people ask, well, what do you guys do with them? We have a facility, not locally. We have a facility that we take all of our drugs, all of our narcotics, all of that stuff, and it goes to a place where it basically is a trash company. And they have an incinerator, and it goes in the incinerator. And it's because there's filters and all of that type of stuff because it's going up into the air. So we forget all about it. As far as the money we confiscate, at least in Southern California, for the police agencies that I'm really aware of, that money has to be disposed by a judge. And it doesn't go back to the police department. It goes back to a city and goes into the city coffers. But we're not in the business of making money. If a police department was a business, we would be bankrupt, 100%, because what we do is not cost effective. Us having a SWAT team is not cost effective. Paying guys overtime to train, paying guys overtime to go on a mission at 2:00 in the morning when it's 20 plus people is not cost effective. So we would be bankrupt. But because it's we get our money from the tax base, and people go, I got to jump on that one. I know Sternal's probably heard it. I definitely know SWAT Theory is, I'm your boss. Fuck you. You're not my boss. You're not my boss. Right. My chief of police is my boss. I pay your salary. Well, guess what?
What is it, Westland? You want to lick?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yes, exactly. What is interesting about that, and I'm gonna let my partners here comment on that too, is that you're not gonna get anywhere with us by telling us that type of stuff. By telling us I'm your boss. I pay your salary. You work for me. Number one, you don't pay my salary because I make a significant amount of money, and not even all of the taxpayers in the state of California pay my salary. My salary, and like my colleagues here, comes from different tax sources, from the feds, from the state, from the county, from the city. Those are all just various different things that come into play. But you're not doing yourself any favors by starting an encounter that way. And by the way, and I want to talk about encounters, is what people do in the field, as far as our people that we're trying to detain, they dictate our tactics. If we told someone, stop, put your hands up, turn around, I'm going to pat you down for weapons for your safety and my safety. If they just did that, we would not have police shootings. We would not have uses of force. Because so I definitely want to get both my colleagues. So SWAT Theory, thoughts?
Yeah. Oof. let's start with the spicy edition of my thoughts on that.
Oh,
So
boy.
I've told a lot of guys I'm part-time, so every other week I'm on call and we train a lot. Not enough. Not honest to God, not enough. We need so much money to train guys up to the proficiency we need to be, but we make do with what we got. I mean, it's like I think it was Halo 2 where Sergeant Johnson's like, back in my day in the military, we only had 3 sticks for a whole platoon and a rock, and we had to share the goddamn rock. Like it's literally that levels of, like you said, funding, especially now with inflation and all that other fun stuff coming up. But you're not wrong. Like we are in an era for, and this is we're gonna do some generational gaps between his time on for. I'm not gonna discredit. You said 25, 28 years law enforcement, to my time, which is 20 years minus. Like I'm hitting my 8th year, and it's amazing. You'll run into people that were doing stupid shit in the 80s that just got thwomped. We're not saying it's right or wrong, whatever. But they're like, no sir, yes sir, this is what happened. And now you'll deal with people that'll go in and they will fucking strong arm rob a business, and then when you go to stop them because the call out is white male, purple pants, green shirt, black hat, or black male, yellow hat, red shirt, fucking pink pants. Like you stop them like, hey man, match description, show me your hands, show me your hands. Man, fuck you, you're the police, you're harassing me because I'm black or white or whatever. It doesn't change. So it's a generational problem, but you're absolutely right. Like people don't listen. If it was a matter of, okay, hands up, whatever, I'll fight this in court, there would almost not be a need for a police department. It'd be a matter of referees, I guess you could call it.
Mhm.
Of hey, you did the thing, show me your hands. Okay, cool, you're under arrest for investigation of this. Done. Instead, it's a matter of, nah, you're doing this because whatever card out of the deck, and then things get violent, or they run, or they fight, or they flee, and then it just escalates to the point that we're here. And to play on what Chris said, one of my coworkers actually has a brother who's in prison who would always say, I ran a stop sign. Would you give me a ticket? Well, yeah, it's a stop sign. That's a safety violation. I don't want you to hit like a family of 4 and kill like the kid in the back seat. Oh, okay, so I don't pay the ticket, and then what happens? Well, your license gets suspended. Oh, okay, so I drive with a suspended license, then what do you do? Yeah, I run your plate, find out you're a suspended driver, and I try to stop you. Oh, okay, so then I don't stop, and then what happens? Well, I'm going to pursue you because you're fleeing a lawful stop. Oh, okay, so then I start doing this, and then because you're chasing me, I crash. Then what do? I try to take you out of the car because you've now committed a felony, leaving or fleeing from law enforcement. I have to take you to jail. Well, so then I don't want to get out of my car. Then what do? Well, I'll try and bring you out of the car, which is fresh pursuit policy. But then we get into Pennsylvania versus Mims, ordering you out of your car for my safety. But it's a thing. Oh, so then if I don't get out of the car, what are you going to do? If I start reaching around, well, I'll probably shoot you, fearing you're probably going to grab a weapon to shoot and kill me. Oh, so you're going to kill me over a stop sign ticket?
No.
What in the slippery slope hell fallacy is this? Like there's people out there that think that stuff, and Chris is absolutely right. Like there's no accountability, there's no I did wrong, I need to stop. There's just people that want to push the envelope and try to hit the blue lottery to make a lawsuit work, and it's crazy. Like if people would like stop and go, yeah, they're right. I screwed up. I should probably surrender now so nobody gets hurt. There's no shots fired. There's no stupid stuff. Yeah, let's just get this squared away. I screwed up. I'm sorry. We wouldn't need SWAT teams, police, whatever. And he's right. It's an escalation of force. Which, to cap off what I said, there's 10 more seconds. There's a meme that's like, when did this, which is like police and Class A's with the revolvers and stuff, go to this? And it's like tactical teams like Chris and myself, like rappelling from buildings, helicopters, and stuff to deal with crises. And the rebuttal was, well, when did this, which is like a Black Panther rally, peaceful protest, people putting their hands in the air, like, we're not going to tolerate this anymore, turn to this, and it's got like guys with machine guns and RPGs and like gang memorabilia on their bodies. It's like it's a two-way street. I mean, the more violent people get, the more, I don't want to say violent, but the more equipped, prepared, and trained we have to be to address these violent threats. Like, so take it as you will, but we, as a society, we have to respond to these people that would endanger others. And you have to get guys that are brave enough to sign up and go, I'm probably going to die, but I don't want somebody's 3-year-old kid to get smoked in the head with a rifle. I'll do it.
Right. Thoughts, Sternal?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Kind of piggybacking off of what you said, Chris, was our tactics are responsive to their behaviors, right? I remember specifically not too long ago at a traffic stop with an individual. You know, the common thing is when you're doing a traffic stop is you observe the violation, right? You run the registration on the vehicle and you kind of get an idea of who you're going to be dealing with before you do that traffic stop. And back in the 80s, I had seen that he had things for fleeing police officers in motor vehicles. And so it's a long time ago. And I took that information and I put it in the back of my mind. I was like, okay, so he's done this in the past, but I'm not going to treat him any differently. I'm going to go up to him. I'm going to say, hey, sir, you know, the reason I'm stopping you today is X, Y, and Z, or X or Z. You know, do you have a driver's license, proof of insurance for you? Why'd you do this today? You know, what's the reason for it? And then I could have easily gone up there and be like, hey, I know you've fled us before, so you better not do that. That would totally not get us anywhere. I went up there exactly as I said the first way, and things went great. Like, he provided me his license and registration, and things were good. He's like, hey, this is why I did this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Went back, made my decision on what I was going to do, and then I returned to him. We dealt with business, and I said, hey, have a good day. And it was a great encounter, and I think it was good for both ways. One, he was like, because he probably could have been like, oh, God, you know, he's fled cops, he's fled law enforcement before, and he could have a negative experience with law enforcement. And my goal, I guess, and it's generational stuff, as both of them have touched on, we don't want to make things any worse than we need to, especially nowadays. So my goal on every stop is to have a positive encounter. There's people who have drove with driving after suspensions, driving after revocations, blah, 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 because they didn't answer their court summons or whichever. And I've stopped them before. You know, you run their plate, it shows that they're suspended. They match the physical description of the registered owner, the driver does, and you pull them over and you're like, hey, what are we doing today? Why are you driving? And they'll say, I'm just trying to come from work. I'm trying to go to work. And I verify their story. I vet it. And if they are, sometimes I'll say, all right, you're doing the right thing. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to give you a ticket today because you're doing the right thing. But you got to have someone come pick you in the car up. All right. And that goes super far.
Right.
And it's a great strategy. I don't do it for everyone. If they're doing the right thing, I try to give them the benefit of the doubt to have a great encounter. But if they, you know, it does go a long way, because if I pull them over and they're suspended and they instantly are like, just do it. Just give me the ticket. Fine. It's just not as effective. Now, granted, I'm not going to be like, oh, okay. I'm just going to be like, hey, what's going on? You know, like,
Right.
Why are you upset? You know, try to get to the story. And, you know, a lot of training nowadays for law enforcement is working on that communication skills, because back in the first introduction, I talked about people getting into the job for the right things. The people who get into the job to carry the gun, to look cool, when someone does that or has that negative, like, I don't know, introduction of themselves to that officer, that is what getting into the job for the right reasons is what will set you apart from dealing with it in a positive compared to a negative way.
Right.
And I do want to go back to Knox Part's question real quick. It's not a very long one, if that's all right.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because he's been waiting for a while. So he asked, and Jason's question for me was, what is the relationship between SWAT and the National Guard, if any, and do we ever work together? So a good example is a good example would be the Minneapolis stuff that was going on in 2020, right? The National Guard and a lot of law enforcement teams work together to qualm that civil unrest. And I'm going to be honest, the military, the National Guard, we are mainly in a support role for law enforcement. There is all these echelons of support that they need to satisfy before they call upon us. But even then, we're not granted the arrest powers. We're simply there just to help them out. In fact, the training we receive specifically from the Guard is just to support the officers. They don't want us, the National Guard. Granted, it's kind of weird because I have a dual role, so that gets interesting sometimes. But they don't want the National Guard getting hands-on with the citizens, because there is obviously that really big disconnect right now between the citizens and the government. And the last thing we need is even more governmental agencies going hands-on with citizens. We don't want that. And we have to be very, very careful, because one bad thing seen by you guys, one mistake made by a professional Minnesota National Guard or law enforcement member that is what's remembered, not the millions of good things. So hopefully that's a great answer. If you need more clarification, feel free to ask.
I think that was definitely a good answer. Yeah, and it's a support role, just like when we had the LA riots here. National Guard was deployed, but you said it perfectly. It was there to assist law enforcement, not to take the primary role, because obviously our Constitution also plays with that as well, because due to the fact that we have powers of arrest, and blah 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 with that. Hey, SWAT Theory, I know we asked Sternal. I forgot to ask you. So tell us what made you want to become a police officer. What?
Yes.
So yeah, no. So.
Oh, real quick, hold on real quick before you, just because we've been going, let me see here, we've been going almost an hour. All right, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, I've been seeing people jump into this live stream of Coffee with the Cop. I'm going to put it out there. Fox Commander did a great thing. He brought SternalJet, law enforcement officer, into Coffee with the Cop. He brought SWAT Theory in, a fellow Leo as well, that's also a SWAT operator. And just so you guys know, SWAT Theory has his own YouTube channel, so please head on over there and give him a sub and a like, as well as a bell icon, so that way you know when he uploads stuff. And just so you guys know that are watching right now and maybe watch later, Sternal, SWAT Theory, and I will be collabing a lot more. This was, I don't want to say an experiment, but this was, if you watched the beginning of it, it definitely was an experiment. However, the old guy was able to figure it out with Fox Commander, but we are going to definitely do this again, because instead of you guys just listening to me and asking questions, I think this is I'm actually having a great time. I wish I did not have to go to work this afternoon, because I could stay here for hours just talking with these guys and letting you guys ask your questions. And I think maybe we might do that, and we'll do that based upon their schedules in the very near future, because this is just flipping awesome. I'm having a great time. But anyways, so I definitely want to throw it out there that you're going to see some collaboration. As a matter of fact, SternalJet and I are going to be doing some tactical gameplay together. But here's the interesting part, and it goes back to a question that Sternal had answered earlier, and then we're going to get back to SWAT Theory telling us why he became a cop. Was when you want to ask the differences, or people ask the differences, what's the differences between SWAT / police and military? Look at the gameplay. There's a lot of games out there, tactical shooters, especially like the SWAT ones and that type of stuff, where you can see the military guys play it differently, as opposed to the way law enforcement plays it. And you guys have seen my gameplay where I'm trying to play it as close as possible. However, there's just some things that we can't do because the game makers don't know our tactics. And I definitely want to get to that later on with SWAT Theory, because SWAT Theory said he went to bank school. So I want to talk about that later, the differences of how games use flashbangs, but what really happens, I've never been to bank school, but I mean, I've been banged, I've been all that type of stuff, because that you have to be on a SWAT team, you got to know the effects. But I want him to talk about in just a bit what is realistic when it comes to flashbangs, to a point, because we definitely don't want to give all our tricks away. We'll give that we'll tell you that information that we're allowed to say. But anyway, so with that, I just wanted to throw it out there. By the way, if you have not liked this video or this live stream, hit the like button before you guys jump out. But okay, so SWAT, let's hear it. What drove you to law enforcement? And then someone remind me not to forget the whole bang question, because I've already forgotten it within the last hour.
No, I won't let you forget. I've actually got my my first bang throw. The pin and the spoon is on my wall of achievement.
Nice.
So I have to go grab it. But before I go into that, I want to touch on what he said about tactics, knowing people's fallacies and their previous record and stuff. I'll get into it. Just give me like 30 seconds, real quick. Like he just said, or Sternal just said, like when you run a plate and shit, and you see, felony, fleeing, all this stuff. I try and treat people as equally as I can. Even the summer or winter, it's like, hey, you might turn the engine off. I've thrown a couple flashbangs too many. I've fired too many rifles. My hearing just sucks. I'm sorry. And a lot of times people will go, oh yeah, sorry, no, it's okay, and they'll turn the engine off. But going back, if you know if a person who has a history of fleeing and stuff, that just I'm sorry, English is hard. Fuels into the history of just people going, why you want me to do that? And you go, ah, fuck. Which it goes into like training and understanding human psyche and all that stuff of, hey, I know you've got a history of stabbing people. You mind putting that knife in the passenger seat? Why would I do that? You know, red flags. Like he said, it's difficult to deal with people and understand their mindset and thought process when you deal with like 1,000 traffic stops and like less than 10 do the, why would I do that kind of stuff. That's a red flag, and there's case law and that sort of stuff. But you know, he's right. It falls under like tactics and stuff. Just I wanted to feed off that because you mentioned it. Like, well, you stopped me because I'm black. Well, I stopped you because you ran the stop sign and you have a history of fleeing. So please turn the engine off, like that sort of thing. So I just wanted to build off that because people will say, well, your tactics are, well, I got stopped and this cop told me to turn off the engine, and I got stopped and the cop did. There's a reason we adapt to different traffic stops. Just to build off what Sternal said, is everybody's different. The military is also obviously different for their tactics, and you know, and I didn't know this. Like you have to go 5 miles an hour when you're passing troops and stuff. There's just different laws, different reasonings, different guidelines, different safety procedures. But so off that tangent of what I wanted to feed off what Sternal said. No, when I became a cop, man, this is gonna sound really, really juvenile for being a 30-year-old, but or in my 30s. But Batman was kind of a big thing, and people are gonna go, "What the hell?" No, seriously. No, seriously. It's like, all right, so you got this big fucking, there's this beefy dude who's like, "Ah, yes, criminals, I will stop you." Ah, but yes, I can do this, Batman. Well, I've got this utility belt that says you're not gonna hurt anybody, and having all those all that cool gear, all those cool items, all that really neat shit that just says, no, you're doing a naughty. You need to go to adult timeout. And you know, the whole Batman doesn't kill thing. Also, it's like, oh, so we can peacefully take these bad people to jail, or put them in adult timeout, and we don't need to kill them, and they can jury the peers and all that. Like me being in middle school, well, being a child, obviously, Batman, Superman, all that cool stuff. But being like, as you start growing, it's like that's a really cool concept. Like, it doesn't need to be the Wild West as they call it, and we can take people to jail, and they can answer for their crimes, and things are justly dealt with. Which again, that's ignoring the whole I guess you'd call it side conversation that stays between police and first responders, which I'm not going to bring to light. But the whole like concept of I can do this, and then you get some guy who's like, ah, yes, but I have this for your tool, Batman, and it escalates to the point where like okay, Batman can't handle it. Let's call him Superman, and that's how I viewed SWAT when I was a kid. It's like, so when the police can't take care of the bad people trying to do bad things to good people, they call him the really good guy that just can't be hurt by bullets and stuff, and they come in and they take the bad guy into custody. And that was kind of my philosophy going into it, was I wanted to be the good guy. Like, whether it be, which nowadays, whether it's a mental crisis, whether it's a drug lord who's trafficking children for unspeakable acts, or this guy who just murdered people that's hiding and he's been cornered, and now we have to take him to court to answer for his crimes. That was my thought process behind it. And now that I'm here, I mean, I'm not in the Fortune 500 business, but it's one of the most gratifying feelings in the world to say, we just took this guy who murdered his wife, took his kids hostage, threatened to shoot anybody who came to his house. He's now secured. The kids have, hopefully, a chance at a normal life, unfortunately, given the circumstances. But that was my drive. My drive was, from the beginning and to this day, was just help people. And that's still what gets me going in the day, is I'm going to wake up and go, all right, someone's about to have a bad day, and I just want to make sure that they can live through that bad day, get better from it, and move on. And that's always been from day one. My philosophy is help your fellow man.
Okay. Before I move on to the banger question, I'm going to ask this. Okay, Sternal. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Fox just threw it up there. If you are on Twitch, definitely head on over to SternalJet's Twitch channel. We threw it up there. Stream Elements, if you look at it, there's a direct link to SternalJet's Twitch, so definitely go up there. And I know I have like 1,300 followers on Twitch, so 1,300 of you should show up to SternalJet's Twitch channel and throw him a sub. So definitely that. And I know I'm going to be watching, because I watch him. I watch Nightcop 35, so I will be subbing myself, and definitely supporting that channel as well. All right, now I got to ask this, Sternal.
Yes, sir.
but given all the, I guess the best thing is given all the crap that we were subjected to, that we have politicians at the federal level, at the state level, the local level that just despise us, defund the police. What is it, if you could? I know there's no one single thing that drives us to to wake up in the morning and head to work, because it's a plethora of things that requires that. But what is it that makes you not want to, like SWAT Theory said, become a broker or do something safer or something less critical?
Man, I ask myself that.
I know, right? I know.
Several times throughout my first year of being a cop, you're just like, you make that rookie mistake. Remember I told you about that med bag one time, and I was just like, I mean, that was a minor thing, but the reason that I can wake up, continue to do it, is because you have all these bad things, right? That have happened, and sometimes you think about it like, golly, I'm gonna go to work one day and I'm going to go to prison based off of just doing my job. And that's just something that we have to assess and accept, right? Having a family, I know it's tough on them, but fortunately I have a supportive family. I've never not been supported, thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I can keep doing it is because they don't show you all the great things that we do. All the times we show up to someone's lift assist and help this elderly person up off the floor, and we have just an awesome encounter. They don't show you when we respond to some gal or guy who's having suicidal ideations, and we're able to talk them off the ledge. They don't show you the times that we're able to respond to someone who has an absolute hatred for law enforcement. This is actually an experience of mine I had. This guy had an absolute hatred for law enforcement. He's a younger guy, and based off of my communication skills, not to toot my own horn, but it worked that day. I was able to talk him off the ledge, and I was able to help become a kind of resource for him. I gave him and I do this. I give some people who I really, really care about, for sure, my personal number, because I know that they were once on the ledge, and I had been in the same spot as them before based off of stuff I experienced in the past. And if they ever are thinking about that stuff again, I told them to call me, because I don't want to see them, jump off the ledge, because that sucks. And it was this situation was so extreme where he was on the cusp of going on an emergency hold, right? And because of a note he had left that suggested or implied that he was going to do certain things, and I responded. His dad called it in, and I responded. And that's how that interaction started. And he expressed to me several times he did not want to go to the hospital. It's just going to cost more money, and it's just going to make him unhappier. And man, if I could change anything right now, it should not cost money to go seek mental health.
I know.
It should not.
Sure.
It is crazy, because it's almost counterproductive. Once upon a time, when I was cheated on by an ex-girlfriend, and I was on a ledge, and I went to go get mental health help, because that happened. And everyone has those times.
Yeah.
So if you have stuff in the past, it's okay. Be open about it, because that's the only way you learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I made mistakes, and I went to seek that mental health help. And I was like, man, this money thing, this sucks. It was like $4,000.
Wow.
Between the ambulance drive and the freaking mental health practitioner. It doesn't do them any favors, and I recognize that. And I had to make a very tactical decision on whether I was going to send him or not. But based on that conversation I had with him and the experiences we had, I didn't send him. And now he has a job, and he's doing great things.
That's cool.
He went from being a regular person we respond to all the time to we haven't heard from him since
cool.
I started. And that is awesome. And I still call him here and there. I'm like, hey, dude, how's it going? And he loves hearing from me, because, I was the guy that I like to believe I was the guy that helped him get there. And that's the stuff that gets you to wake up every day, because you can do that. Of course, you can't win them all, though.
Oh no, for sure.
I have a theory. Not SWAT theory. I have a theory. Aha, right? Oh, the little plug there. I have a theory that 90% of America wants us out there. It's a silent 90%, unfortunately, but it's a 90% that wants us out there doing our job. And quite frankly, it's the 10% that has the microphone and is causing all of this stuff. And what people don't realize is that people, I remember one time I was at a fast food establishment. I was just sitting there with another officer. We're eating burgers. And someone walked up to us, and this was pre-COVID, but someone walked up to us and said, "I support you." And I'm like, "What?" And they go, "I support you." And they walked away. And it was just like, I was appreciative that they said that to me, but here's the problem. I wish they would have said it out loud, because that's the problem, is the 90% is not saying it out loud. They're letting that 10% drive this narrative, but in reality, that's why there has been no defunding of the police, because the politicians, the rich, I gotta love this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna tell you something right now. The elite, the elite, okay, we're talking the elite now. We're talking politicians. We're talking Hollywood. We're talking the owners of 5 Fortune companies. It's great for people to say, like our famous basketball player over here in California, Los Angeles, that talks about how we should defund the police. That guy, when he made that statement, added 10 more private armed security to his detail. So it's great when you could say, let's defund the police. Well, politicians have private protection. Hollywood elite have private protection, because I have friends that are law enforcement officers that work side gigs to protect these people. You're telling you to get rid of your security when they have their own security. It is amazing. So it's easy to say defund the police when you don't need the police because you have a private security. That's what amazes me about this whole thing. It's like, we're your private security. We're there for you. And that yet they come out and they attack us. They attack our tactics, and we can't say anything. I mean, we've all seen the stories of, especially that one officer who did the LeBron James thing, where he says, "Hey, LeBron, hey, I got this situation over here," and he's making fun of it. That guy was making just a fun video. Us in law enforcement enjoyed it, but I believe that officer got into some trouble. I think he's okay, but I think he got into some trouble and he survived it. But I wish the 90% would come out. I really would. So real quick, what I want to do is I want SWAT Theory to talk about this, because then I'm going to go grab one more cup of coffee, and then I think I got about another 30 minutes before I have to get to work or get ready for work. SWAT Theory, talk about flashbangs and what you.
Jesus Christ, we'll be here all goddamn.
No, but talk about how we don't utilize flashbangs like they do in games.
Oh, you mean like we don't stick them in somebody's mouth and blow their head up like Hollywood pretends we do?
Yes, or the fact that we don't bang every room. I mean, maybe on an active shooter.
That I could talk about that for a while. Like, that's departmental dependent and Delta dependent, which is fucking weird.
Which is mission.
I didn't train with Delta, but that was a shocker for me.
Yeah, exactly. So and honestly, it's mission dependent, because if I had an active shooter situation and I had active gunfire, and I have a team coming in, we're probably going to bang every room. But normal, just say normal. If you watch gameplay of Ready or Not, SWAT 4.
We had this discussion last night about Ready or Not when I got banged by a teammate. I'm like, this is such bullshit.
Right?
Like, it was crazy.
So can you talk about that while I go grab a cup of coffee, and I'll be right back?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Cool.
I'll go ahead and touch on it. Let's start with the basics. So flashbangs are, as I always refer to them, the 4th of July, you just hear the boom, and you don't see any trailer or anything going up into the air, and then all of a sudden it's just bright light. And then it's like a fucking cannon went off. You're like, oh shit, what was that? You look in the air, there was the flash and all that. That is essentially what a flashbang is you've got it in your hand. It's basically those giant concussive fireworks in the palm of your hand. So what's interesting is every damn video game, for whatever reason, has always been a flashbang out, throw, It could be the middle of the day, bright as hell, no dark spots anywhere. Excuse me. And the flashbang goes off, and it's just, your screen looks like my window up here, just total boom, and you can't see shit, and you're blinded as hell, and all this stuff. That's not how a flashbang works. It's meant to disorient you in a confined space. When you throw it in, the blast comes out. It's concussive. Sometimes, actually, most of the times, blows out your eardrums. You're sitting there going, "Oh, fuck! My equilibrium's off. I can't aim a rifle right." If you're not expecting it. So, for us, when we throw it, the whole team's like, "Yep, big fucking bang, gonna happen." Boom. Okay, go. And then you go on the bang. But for whatever reason, in movies, video games, media, it's like silencers. People think silencers mean that you pull the trigger, it goes, and nobody else can hear it. You throw a flashbang, bang, it goes off. Everybody can't see shit. They're all deaf, falling over each other. The flashbang is a distraction device. If I throw it into a room and you're in the pitch black trying to hide, yeah, you might get a little like the sun. So you stare at the sun for a second, you look down, you got that weird purple fucking spot in your vision that no matter where you look, it doesn't go away. If you look at a flashbang when it goes off in a pitch black room, that's kind of what it's like. It's like, oh shit, there's a very extreme difference between pitch black and the flashbang going off, and I can't see shit now. Ah, fuck. In a pitch black room. In a well-lit room, you might have, I don't know, maybe a dot like maybe that in your vision. That where if you were to stare at it and it go off, which I actually have a video from my time in LA when I went to school, but flashbangs are not like, I don't know how else to say it other than like cheat codes. Like when they go off, yeah, they go off, they're loud, they'll deafen the shit out of you, but it's not like, I can't see 2 inches in front of my face. They're purpose driven, and I mean they work, they're loud, they distract, they draw attention. It's human nature, but son of a bitch, it's just the way they're portrayed. Like even like going back, like I said about video games, even in things like Ready or Not, where it goes off, and even the operator's like, "Oh no, this flashbang just went off in front of my face. I've suddenly drank 15 beers in 2 seconds." No, that's not how it works. It's literally like throwing not a snap, maybe a snap cap or an M80. If you know it's going to happen, you're like, okay, boom, go, and that's how you operate with it. Like it's not, oh, there was this loud noise, I can't see, like we just discussed, unless it's like a pitch black room. It might mess your night vision up or really bad, but that's like the only instance. Like I could go on for probably an hour on the inaccuracies of flashbangs and stuff. It's just
that
like it's sorry to catch you. Basically, to catch you up when I said basically flashbang goes off. Oh shit, I'm blind. No, not true unless you're in a pitch black room. Flashbang goes off. Oh god, drunk. No, not true. It's literally meant for people not wearing ear protection to be like, oh, that was loud. Shit. Oh god, there's guys with guns and I'm about to die. Like that's all it's meant to do. So when we were playing Ready or Not last night, and somebody mistossed a flashbang and it hit the wall, came back and went off like 5 feet in front of me, and my guy just pined the corner, goes, "Oh no, I can't move and can't see." What?
I know.
I have yet to see a video game get flashbangs right to this day, which I get it, gameplay, it's got to have functionality and all that fun shit, which also can surprise some people. I'm a certified, don't tell the missus, but I'm a certified wall banger. Get a giddy. But no, I've actually been certified to get a breaching vault. You put a flashbang in it, and you hit the det switch in the back. But I can actually put this damn thing against drywall, and when it goes off, it makes a vault, like a vault opening that's just, so much in the drywall, because the concussive blast of the flashbang will blow through 2 sheets of drywall, and you can port a room with it. Super cool. You can also breach doors with it, but that's it. It doesn't cause the house to burst into flames. It doesn't blind everybody else in the room. It's super neat stuff, but again, going back to what Chris said, flashbangs are so misunderstood. Like, yeah, okay, I take that back. You can cause blindness by catching the house on fire when you throw it into like a shag carpeted room. And
right.
It goes off, and which is why I know LA uses actually talking about tactics. Not gonna talk about what they do, but they have preventative measures for catching houses on fire with like gas and stuff. But
Hot gas.
it's the same with flashbangs. Like, you throw one in, it goes off. It's meant to make somebody go, "Oh shit, what was that?" And then by the time they look over, you've got the good guys going, "Drop your shit or get dropped."
Yeah.
It's that's all they're for. And for whatever reason, video games think it's the whole end all be all, snow blindness. Suddenly you're drunk, just sitting there going, "Oh man,
Yeah.
oh I can't." It's frustrating, and it's hard to explain to guys who haven't experienced it. But uh,
Yeah.
I think it's purely entertainment value. Like I started at the beginning with suppressors. Suppressors aren't there, well,
I know.
That's why the key.
Go ahead.
And that's why the key is, like, when you don't use flashbangs, a really important thing is violence of action and search warrants. You see them bust down the door or whichever, get access to the door, and they go and announcing themselves super loud and talking to every single, or yelling at every single person because we're trying to give them sensory overload. That's basically what it is, and they're going to be like,
violations.
Okay, all right, I'm going down.
Right. You know what and you know what, gameplay, I really wish. I mean, I think you said it best, SWAT Theory, is I get it. It's a game. It's entertainment value. But the sad part about it is so many people base what we do on Hollywood and games. And they don't realize that we don't do... I mean, games are... I mean, it's like I was doing Ground Branch. And I was actually having a good time in Ground Branch. You know why? Because I had no more of those fucking ROEs. I didn't have. I was.
Oh God! Don't even get me started.
I was
unauthorized use of force.
Really?
He was aiming a gun at my
friend's
face. He was aiming a gun at my. Why would we? You go room clearing. Police search warrant. Police search warrant. Police search warrant. They can't shoot me unless I fire. Fuck you! You know we're coming. If I see you holding a.
I know.
If I see you holding one of these bad boys and I come into a room and you're like, "Hi," you're getting dropped. Like, there is no unauthorized use of force. Like, that's what blew my mind when I played this game. Like, one of my friends, actually last night, one of my friends like breached a bathroom. He went in. I swear to God, the bad guy's sitting there at the door going, "I hope you come out back this door because I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you good."
Yeah.
And I sat there and went, "Oh, that's not good." I turned the corner. He literally goes right at me, and I go, "Shit!" Dropped him. Unauthorized use of force minus 350 points.
I know.
What?
And translating in real life, this is exactly where we're having another issue in Minneapolis because we had a search warrant and they're going in there and there's the controversy of knock versus no knock warrants.
Oh, you mean the murder suspect warrant where the guy pulled a gun and aimed it at cops when he probably shouldn't have had a gun in the first place?
Yep. So we have that thing going on now where, we have the knock, no knock warrant stuff, and they did a no knock warrant because it can be articulated that it was a homicide suspect's residence.
Which always gets left out for some weird fucking reason. Right.
And so they're going in, they're yelling their search warrant, police search warrant, and they see a guy laying on the couch with a gun. And they make their decisions, and unfortunately now they're tied up again. And we can't really. I'm not going to say much more because it's still an active thing. But
you're good. Yeah,
it's frustrating.
It is.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's one of the big things that just piss me off. Like online, I'm a huge 2A advocate. Like, I believe if you're not a violent shitbag, an armed society is a polite society. But I live in the Midwest where firearms are in the back of your fucking truck when you show up to high school to take your high school test or your ASVAB or whatever. Like, we live in a common sense community, thank God, where people are like, "Oh, there's a gun in the truck." Yeah, okay. And the kid that was dressed in all camo covered in deer blood went to school to take his test. So what's your fucking problem? Like, you're absolutely right. But it's gotten to the point now where like, well, the police shouldn't have did this. Oh, I'm sorry. They're supposed to sit there and go, "We have an arrest warrant for the guy who potentially murdered some girl back in the day." Like, one of our ops was a guy who they thought murdered some guy in our town. They found him in a hotel. They tried that exact same shit. You know what happened? 16 rounds got sent through the door before another 5 got sent through the wall, attacking these marshals, the drug task force, some SWAT operators that were there just kind of assist to prevent a call out. Full fucking call out. Like, it should have absolutely all day, every day been all right, it's 2 a.m. Nobody's doing anything. You guys good? Alpha team, this is a go. boom, and go get the guy while he's sleeping. And everybody says, you can't do that. And well, yeah, to the average citizen, yes. But when somebody just made somebody take the room temperature challenge and now you have to go apprehend them, there are situations where those are warranted. I'm not saying they're warranted for drugs, and I think even Chris will agree that, fuck it, some guy dumps 10 pounds of meth down the toilet and they just keep flushing it. Whatever, not worth an operator's life.
Right.
But somebody who has shown no regard for human life, one of the things that we hold on the highest pedestal, even above my own fucking gun safe, it's like up here, the most sacred things we have. No, absolutely, that guy should not know we're coming. He should have his underwear around his ankles and just go, ah, shit. And like he said, it's an OODA loop fuck up. Flashbangs, machine guns, flashlights. If you're sitting there going, ah, shit, ah, what's out? I'm outgunned. That is how you take a violent guy into custody. You don't want him to start shooting at you. You don't want him to start mag dumping through the door, potentially killing his neighbor. You don't want him to shoot at you as you're coming in and maybe kill his neighbor in a neighboring apartment. Like, and I try to explain that, and people are like, no, my Second Amendment and infringements. Like, motherfucker, do you know the kind of arsenal I have sitting right there right now? Like, it's enough to make California want to make me a war.
Right.
It's so stupid, and that's what yes, there are times that it's necessary, and I'm sure Chris and other vets will agree. It's dope. Fuck it. If they flush it,
Nah.
NBD. We clean it in our water system. It gets neutralized. Fresh water goes out. We have one of the best water systems in the world. They flush weed, meth, coke, whatever, heroin. We don't care. It's clean. It's sterilized. It's good water. But to sit there and go,
I know.
housekeeping, don't shoot us in the face. Kind of a problem, not just for us, but also the neighboring people. And that's why the Locke case is just mind-boggling to me, because, I mean, I get it. I have a firearm in like every room of my house hidden somewhere because I live in the middle of nowhere, and my sheriff's department response time's like 20 minutes. Trust me, I timed it. It's Chris is laughing, but just to put it in perspective, my wife had somebody try and break into the house while she was fucking sitting in this office, which I don't know if you can see I gotta go behind my head, but like right here and somewhere over here, some motherfucker tried to actually break into my house by cutting our screen and putting his fingers in. And that's why we have this little guy sitting by the desk anymore, is we live in the middle of nowhere. And she called me and I'm like, call fucking 911. I'm at work in the city. And it took them 20 minutes to get there. So naturally, firearms everywhere in the house after that.
Yeah,
it's much better now, but
absolutely.
They didn't get in. But even the sheriff's office is like, nope, nobody tried to break in. I get home and go, really, motherfucker? What is that and that and that in that window? Oh, also the mud prints in the footprints in the mud going over my privacy fence and jumping it that start from here and go to there. May have wanted to check that out, but we didn't, did we? So I mean, I totally get people wanting to like defend their own home and stuff, but
absolutely,
even for me, I've reinforced I've done the typical police stuff, reinforced my door, windows, all that stuff. So I'm probably gonna know if you try to battering ram my door, only because I've only battering rammed like 8 doors in my time and know how hard it is to get in. So I'm going to hear it, and if I see red and blues and hear, police, search warrant, I'm like, apparently they got the wrong house, but here we go.
Right.
I will submit.
Yeah, it's that's the big thing. Like, we're taught, like, as we're breaching, police, just to try and subvert that stuff to make people, not do stupid shit, which...
And
it encourages them to, actually.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, we're not ninjas. Like, the whole days of sneaking through houses, and I tell all of my new rookies when I'm in charge of training, it's like, look, dude, we're not ninjas. As quiet as you think you are, even with your little fucking Agent Smith earpiece, you need to announce. Because when I smoke some guy who pulled a gun on you, when we open a door and go, our police department, show me your hands or make yourself known. Our police department, show me your hand, all that stuff. We're the good guys. We're not ninjas. We're not a hit squad. You tell the good people that we're protect, hey, we're here. Hey, we're here. Good guys are here to help you. Make yourself known. Hey, good guys here. Good guys here. Tell us if you're here. And it happens like, hey, yo, my name's John Smith. I live here. I'm going to come with my hands up. My alarm went off. Okay, just come to the door. We check. Obviously, they're fine. Literally to this date, the only times I've had a problem is some guy who was blackout drunk in the upstairs apartment and a dog that ATF jokes incoming, but I was clearing a house and the dog, this fucking Ninja Turtle golden retriever came up a stair and just turned the corner and goes, huh! I went, shit. Like, not a bark, not nothing. So, yeah, by all means, like, we're not ninjas. That dog knew we were there, but whoever didn't bark. But no, like the whole no knock warrant thing, just out the window. There are times, granted, but there are times it's not. But that was one of those times it's absolutely warranted. And I feel bad for your city, by the way. You've had Rittenhouse, you've had this,
Oh God.
you've had all sorts of crazy shit happen in the last couple of months, dude. We feel for you.
I actually just think we need to build a fence around, or no, build a fence around your state.
I'm sorry that we are affecting everything. That's the hard part.
Oh, it's not just you. I mean, it's places like Chicago,
Yeah,
New York,
wow.
or L.A. like blaming all the surrounding states. Well, Nevada has loose gun laws, or if you're Chicago, Indiana has lax gun laws, or if you're New York,
Yeah, oh, it doesn't matter.
I guess until recently, Pennsylvania fixed it, but like all of our surrounding states have lax. It's everybody else's fault except for them. They can't account for like
People's
I don't know if you guys watch Coleon Noir, but he touches on like poverty and the involved conflict, inner city gang violence of impoverished gang violence, and not even so much black on black, but like just destitute people trying to fight each other to make a better life for themselves. Like, we're not going to touch on this, really? Like, we're going to talk about the 0.02% of Americans that were killed last year by police, but we're not going to talk about like the 13% of Americans killed by gang-related gun violence. Like, it's stupid.
And you know what's so funny, Swat Theory? You make a good point about the percentage of police officer involved shootings and the amount of people we don't kill. Yeah, I even get it. I even get it in my channel where people say, "Well, how many black people have you killed this week?" And it's like,
Dude.
like what? And you know, and I get it. They're trolls.
Yeah, some just vehemently believe it though.
They do, and what's interesting though is we think about it. There's 750,000 of us plus in the United States. I don't know what any one day, if you were to, what is a day of law enforcement look like from coast to coast of how many of us are on duty, like on day shift right now. We're probably going to have a shooting somewhere in America, maybe, I don't know, but.
Next hour for sure.
Yeah.
There's so many encounters. It's just unavoidable.
Yeah, and what's great is, here's why I go to this. The news fuels so much. I was on when we talk about Ferguson. When Ferguson happened,
that was you're going back to my hired on, dude.
I was on a houseboat in Lake Powell, and the only news channel we could get was the Communist News Network. And I'm looking on the bottom, and it says, white police officer kills black teenager. And I was like, oh, and right off, I already know, oh, this is not going to be good for the profession. I mean, it's a tragic event, but I'm thinking, oh man, this is going to fuel, the flames, blah, blah. So here's what gets me pissed off. And I know with Sternal being military, we all find a story out. He's a teenager because he's 18 years old. But you're old enough to vote. You're old enough to buy cigarettes in some states, and you're old enough to go fight for your country. And what pissed me off was you got all the news networks doing that, right? Teenager, yet he's 18 years old. What about if the news reported, hey, today in Afghanistan, 10 American teenagers were killed by an IAD, but no, we got 18-year-old kids getting killed fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan during that time. And it's just like, it's not being reported that they're teenagers. Hell, 18, 19-year-olds. And it just shows you the biasness of the news that they're not reporting it. You got the same age people in some far-off country being killed, and then you have that same age here in the United States, but it's reported as a teenager, but then over there it's Marines or Army or, that's what pisses me off. And that's what fuels this hatred against us, because it's like, and then, Sternal, both you guys are in patrol. I'm a watch commander. But what people don't understand is 99% of the time, I can't tell the color of the person I'm pulling over. True?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, absolutely. That was just a 3-second thing. I went to interdiction school, and a guy brought up a video camera. He worked for the state police. He goes, all right, here we go, attorney, tell me. And you just see cars going by like 70 miles an hour. Race, curveball, gender, curveball, race. And it's just a fucking blur in a driver's seat just meow, going past his cruiser. And it's like, we do our and I forget the exact case law that lets you stop people. I gotta go back to Donut Operator's video of case law. I show every rookie that gives you like the base plate for all the stuff you can do.
Right.
There's case law for like a violation is a violation in traffic that lets you stop people. But you're absolutely right. And to build off that, not even just like not being able to see the gender or race, whatever. What's the title always gotta fucking be? White cop shoots black teen. Or here lately, oh god, there was 2 shootings. What were they? There was an Arabic guy that the FBI or HRT took care of. Not a fucking word. Or the Texas mass shooting in the school, black kid. Not a fucking word out of the mainstream media. It's always got to be fueled racial tension, which pisses me off because as somebody who lives kind of in the middle of nowhere, when I went to school, we read Huck Finn, To Kill a Mockingbird, all that good shit. But you know what happened when a black kid came to our school? Hi, my name's Swat. What's your name? Oh, hi, my name's Kid. Oh, hi, Kid. Want to be friends? His skin color didn't matter.
Nope.
His creed didn't matter. It's like, oh, cool, somebody who's my age. Let's be friends. And we played. Like, all this racial shit that gets rammed down throats, I feel like is just... It's propagated. Like, it's taught.
Yeah.
Like, my niece and nephew are both, like... I had to do birthday parties. 9 and 6. They don't know race. They'll go to a birthday party, see black, Hispanic, diverse kids, and go, hi, let's be friends. Fuck you. All right, you're an asshole. I don't want to be friends with you. And it's not because they're skin color, it's just because they're kids and realize, oh, you're a dickhead. I don't want to be friends with you. But all this push and shit about like white versus black, and if you're like the Asian hate crimes going on in San Fran right now.
Yeah.
It's just that's what pisses me off is this shit gets perpetualized. Like in our line of work, I see you as a person or an asshole. Either you're having one of the worst days of your life, going back a little bit to somebody saying, please aren't called for Johnny winning the spelling bee and we're having an ice cream bowl. But people are having bad days. We're going into a bad relationship or person's having a shitty day. You're coming in to remind them, hey, you're having a shitty day. And you're also there that's saying, hey, you're having a shitty day. You did shitty things, and I have to take you a shitty place. It's just never good, which is why I always show up. I'm like, hey, man, this is why I'm here. Talk to me. What's going on? What's going on in your head? What kind of mental gymnastics is going on? Why'd you beat the shit out of your girlfriend or whatever? Just to let them kind of explain human side, like, hey, look, dude, I get it. She was blowing your boss or whatever. But the law's the law, man. You can't smack her around. You can't break her teeth. You got to come with me. And like 9 times out of 10, and I'm sure me being 6'3" probably kind of plays into it, but I don't have any problems. It's like, yeah, you're right. I mean, white, black, Hispanic, Mexican, whatever, it doesn't matter. They all say the same. It's like, yeah, you're right. After you explain the law, but every so often, like you said, they bring up that card of a, hey, I can do no wrong, or hey, the news says you're racist. You're just doing this because I'm this. Like and that's what makes the job so much harder. Is if people would understand that a lot of the reasons we get called or have to deal with them is because they've done, as my boss puts it, you did a naughty, you have to go to timeout. Mm-hmm. We would, as a country, be so much better, but now it's just like, just sowed seeds of hate that we have to deal with now for God knows how long. Like, that's what pisses me off.
Yeah. No, what about you, Sternal?
Yeah, it's the challenging part. That's what feeds into our questions of like why we do this stuff every day. But yeah. I guess instead of turning it like internalizing it about us now, because we've talked about that plenty, what I want to do is challenge all y'all, the audience, to think about something. On February 11th in Arizona, there was a police officer that was called to a house because a woman was shot and bleeding.
Oh shit! Yeah, I know this call.
And the officer showed up. Now, any police officer that hears about any human being shot, we're going to show up and we're going to have that on our mind. Like, oh, we got to render first aid.
Yep.
But obviously, someone was shot. I don't know what the specific details were on that CAD when he got there, so I don't know. I can't really judge his response. But he was thinking about safety because he got out of the car and he said, hey, is anyone else in the house? And it's a 27-second video on YouTube, the body cam footage of the officer. But he went up and the guy was like, nope, just me. The person that was yelling at the officer to hurry up because she's bleeding. And so the officer's going there with the intent to save a life and obviously maybe put on some different hats. And in a span of not even a second, the guy just shoots the officer several times. And now the challenge is, if you ever see an officer come up to you on a traffic stop or an encounter or whichever, and you can see they're kind of like shaken, or they're like very like structured at that time, where they're like apprehensive maybe. Maybe they just went through something like that, because there's several stuff like that, maybe not to that extreme, but maybe just short of it, where they had someone at gunpoint on maybe a suicidal ideation call, and luckily it ended good. But you don't know if that officer was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to pull the trigger here today," and this,
Right.
dang it, I don't want to. And fortunately, they didn't. But they hadn't had time to adjust or just accept that, because right after that, it's your domestic call, and they just got done dealing with this person, and now they're dealing with you, and you don't know what kind of reservations they have. So just be wary that, you know, that kind of stuff we think about. And we're human, we can't just let go of everything. We have to do the best we can to talk about it and mitigate our risks, but we can't, we have to do our job. As far as touching on race and color and all that stuff, I never ever 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 look at that ever. I call everyone by their name when I learn it, and
Yes.
I treat everyone based off of, I adjust my tactics to that person's behavior. And so again, I challenge you all to look at that 27-second video. It's graphic, so just be aware of that, because it's obviously got a lot of stuff going on. But just try to challenge yourself. And if you're looking to be a police officer, make sure you look at that video 3, 4, 5 times and understand, be like, hey, that stuff could happen. And that's why we always have to be thinking 50 steps ahead rather than 1 step.
And we actually just locally, because our department assisted, we had a probationary police officer of 3 weeks get shot multiple times, just trying to apprehend a GTA suspect. 3 weeks on the job, and I just found out last night that there may be shrapnel stuck in the spine, so we don't know if that person's going to come back to work. But it's just I could not. I was trying to put myself in that officer's, and I can't, because I can't imagine I'm on duty. I've only been a cop now for 3 weeks, right? I mean, and we all three of us know you don't know shit. I mean, you're still trying to figure out, and
Oh no.
and now I'm sitting in a hospital with 5 bullet holes in me, and they're telling me that I have shrapnel in my spine. I can't even begin to imagine that type of thing. And you bring up a great point, Sternal, about that video, because that's what people don't realize, is that we, all the things that we go through, and we work anywhere between 12.5-hour shifts to 10-hour shifts, and sometimes longer with overtime. But what people don't realize is we don't get to decompress when we're on duty. We go from call to call. One call could be taking a simple report of a battery or a cold burglary. Then the next call, we're interviewing a rape victim. And the next call, we're now in a fight because someone just got done beating their wife, and this guy doesn't want to go into custody. Then the next thing is you got one of your partners trying to pull traffic, and now we have a pursuit. And that goes on but people don't realize that goes on for all day. And then the night comes, or our end of shift comes, and you've probably already, I think we've all, we kind of maybe think about it as, exactly. Then we got to remember it, right? Type of way. And then you got to go home, and then you got to be normal. You got to, your wife or your partner, says, hey, how was your day at work?
Yeah, it was good.
All right. Yeah, it went all right. Yeah, and I can build off that. Like, I've been a huge, I've been a huge advocate for mental health. Especially our department. I mean, when you start off, it's always the same. Oh, if I go to do this, they're going to try and use it against me or say I'm unfit for duty and all this shit. But you need it. Like, I'm sorry. It's still hard to talk about, but when I had God damn it. I literally had a friend die in my hands, and that kind of fucked me and another guy up a little bit. And it's still hard to talk about, but like after that, like him and I both sat in the same squad car, and going back to, like you said, the the whole like you have to deal with the shooting and this sort of thing and all that. And it's not a dig at you. I think you're a lieutenant if I remember correctly, but
Yep.
it comes with the leadership too. That's
Yeah.
God damn it. Sorry.
That's all right, brother.
It comes down to like leadership, seeing a guy and going that, hey, he's fucked up. That happened. We have to get him off the street. Like even me, I was God damn it. Fuck, it's been years and shit still. Anyway, you have to take a look at your guys and go, yeah, no, we got to pull him. The next traffic stop, the next traffic stop he does, fuck, he's gonna be on edge, and
Yeah.
we got to pull him. He can't function like this right now. He should not be on the street. He's one bad domestic away from just going full self-preservation. We got to pull him, and it falls on. It's not a dig at like leadership. It's just
Yeah.
one of those leadership skills that I'm sure you've seen over the years of just guys that have gotten in. They've gotten in the shit, and when you pull them out, they go, "Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm fine." And you look at the guy and go, "Homie, you gotta go home. You're not okay. You've got to take an L on this one. You got to sit down." And that was the big thing for me, and it was a defining moment for me and my best friend in the job. Like we sat there, and I mean, it was what it was. We couldn't save him. We knew we couldn't save him, but goddamn it, you're going to do everything you can to bring somebody that's on your team. Same. You're going to do whatever you can to bring a cop back, and I mean, there's so many factors into it. Like the fucking medics just fucking bebopping up. Oh, somebody got shot. It's okay. While you're holding your best friend's fucking head together, but um. There's just certain, like going back to what Chris said, there's just shit you deal with, and then you have to go from that to dealing with somebody who's calling the police because their 13-year-old won't do their fucking homework,
Yeah.
when you just had to have somebody die in your hands, to somebody breaking a fucking traffic violation. It's such a broad spectrum of emotions and shit you have to deal with that. Okay, back and grounded. Sorry, it's just such a broad fucking spectrum of shit you have to deal with that people don't think about, like, oh, this cop's on edge. Oh, this cop thinks you're going to kill you. Oh, this cop's crazy and he doesn't know what you're going to do. There's shit that goes on behind the scenes that if supervisors don't go, yeah, this guy with a pair of twins that had to go to this fucking 1-year-old child molest / rape case, yeah, he needs pulled now. Like
Yeah.
it's a team effort. You can't just, and I'm not shifting blame or anything, but there's just stuff that we're trained to deal with. Like, oh, you just dealt with a person who burned alive in a car crash. Go deal with this burglary report. Like there's critical incidents, and I've been a huge proponent of saying, look, and I've even told my sergeant, hey, look, I've been doing this shift for almost 10 years. He's fucked up. I've seen his behavior. He's fucked. Pull him. I don't care if we go below minimum.
Yeah.
You got to just tap his shoulder. Go, look, dude, go home. Go hug your kids. Just do something, please, before you do something that we don't want you to do. And I've had guys call me and say, hey, look, man, I appreciate you looking out. The job got to me, and goddamn, and I wasn't in a good place. And I tell them all the time, hey, look, this is a therapist I talked to when I needed it. This is somebody that's going to keep your shit private. Our department does these things. Talk to somebody, dude. We all joke and go, oh yeah, that was fucked up. Oh man, we could have died. Huh? No, seriously, it's the same as you don't go to a cardiologist for a brain tumor. You don't go to a dietitian for pediatrician work. Go to somebody who needs it and get help. Like firefighters seeing shit like children burning alive in car crashes they're trying to rescue. Us trying to hold someone's head together. It doesn't matter. Like you need that mental health to keep you from, like Chris said, that broad spectrum of, okay, traffic stop, whatever. Okay, burglary report, whatever. Okay, gunshot to the head, self-inflicted victim, whatever. But there are things human beings probably shouldn't experience, but we do, and push ourselves through it just because we think we can. But after a while, it's like a tank on your chest, man. You got to get it off.
I tell people I have 35 years, because I was 25 years as a cop and 10 years as a paramedic. I have 35 years of just fucked up shit here that and you said it great, SWAT, is that we didn't talk about mental health, and I'm not, and actually I'm not going to toot my own horn on this, but talking about what, like, do we recognize things? I remember as a watch commander, one of my officers was taking a report of a basically a child molestation. And he heard all the graphic details, and he interviewed and got all the graphic details, la da 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 da. Okay, so long story short, I'm looking at him, and he says to me, he's standing there, and I can see he's very visibly shaken, and he says to me, "I just want to find this guy." And the way he said it, and I'm like, "Okay, all right." So I walk over to the sergeant, and then I walk over to a sergeant. And I said, "Send Officer so and so home." And he's all, "What?" I said, "Send him home. He's not in a position to police. I need him, have him complete his report, but he's going home. He's not going 10-8 today." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then and later on, because I said, and keep him on the books. He's getting paid because I'm sending him home. Later on, I had to deal with some repercussions. They're like, "Hey, did you authorize so and so to go home and we paid him?" I said, "Yeah, I did." And he's like, "Well, you can't do that." And I said, "No, I did it, and then it's going to stay that way." And I got into an argument. I said he needed to go home because if something was going to happen, I don't know what was going to happen, but I prevented something, I think, from happening. And even to this day, that was about 4 years ago. This officer has told me a few times, hey, I still remember what you did for me. And, and I was like, well, number one, I would do it for anybody, but it was that thing is that, yeah, we have to recognize those things. We have to recognize when people, that's why I go to every briefing. I go to my swing shift briefing. I go to my graveyard briefing. And I can tell when people are having a good day and they're not having a good day. And then I'll get with the sergeant because, some people are very jovial. They're, they have conversations. And then when you see that guy sitting off with that girl sitting off to the side, it's like, what's going on? They're not themselves today. And then I'll ask the sergeant, "Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you go make sure so-and-so's ready to go police today?" And sometimes you'll find out there was some type of, fight at home. The kids are sick. The dog died. Whatever that may be, but we have to make sure our people are okay, because in reality, our people are responsible for taking care of other people. So it's my job to take care of you guys, because if you're, and that's my job. My job is to take care of you as a lieutenant. My job is to take care of you guys so you could take care of the public, and that's the way that's supposed to work. And unfortunately, people at my level forget that, and I hate that, because it's like, no, that's my job. My job's not just to do X, Y, and Z. My job is to also make sure that you're okay. So I did want to bring up when we were talking about this is that what people don't understand too, with suicide in law enforcement is we kill ourselves more than people killing us and traffic collisions. And with traffic collisions, that's the number one killer of law enforcement. Like, one police officer dies per week in the United States from a traffic collision. That's been consistent now for 10 plus years. Yet, and then we look at the amount of police officers that get killed in the line of duty from gunfire. We're way above that when it comes to us killing ourselves. And there's obviously a problem, but I can tell you right now, a lot of administrators don't want to acknowledge this. I actually worked for somebody who didn't want to acknowledge the mental health of law enforcement. So that was, and it's thankful because of the military. Well, unfortunately, thankful because of the military, them talking about the 22 veterans killing themselves every day. That finally started to bring light.
Law enforcement, right?
Yeah, that finally I think it was the military campaign, but I think that finally started to bring light to the fact of mental health. And it definitely brought it to the veterans, and then it's now bringing it to public safety. That, hey, wait a minute, we haven't really addressed this in the United States, and that's the sad part. That's the sad part about this. So,
you're absolutely right. Like the Project 100, I think that's where a lot of it comes from. Is a lot of us are just too fucking proud. Like, well, I'm just cruising the neighborhood, so I don't get my belt on. I'm going 20 miles an hour. Well, I'm gonna bail out any second. Like, that shit goes out the window. Like, when I'm in the passenger seat as an FTO, like, I'm again, not tooting my own horn. Like you said, I'm Saint Padre for my shift. We work 8-hour shifts, which is a fucking miracle for what we do. But I'm Saint Padre. Like, the nearest badge number to me is 25 badge numbers down. So I've been on the shift because I have no kids. Gonna try soon.
Good for
This
you.
baby crazy's over there. But yeah, no, I've been on the shift. I'm like, look, dude, I've been doing this shit for years. You know how many times I've been shot at in my car? Once.
Right.
And as long as you practice good tactics, guy with a gun, park 2 houses down, get out of the coffin, and fucking walk the street. Don't be a fucking target. Don't sit there like a duck in a shooting gallery. Get out, walk. That being said, put your fucking seatbelt on, because it's like you're like is it like 3 times more likely to die in a crash than you are to be feloniously murdered by a firearm?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'll see it all the time. I'll be in the fucking passenger seat, just sitting there, oh, we're doing good. All of a sudden, we're involved in a pursuit, and I'll look over and go, "Hey, dickhead, where's your seatbelt?"
Yeah.
What? Yeah, we're going 89 miles an hour. Where's your fucking seatbelt? Oh, right.
I know.
Think, dude. Like, you're not above Newton. You're going out that windshield. We hit something.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, so it is 1:05, guys. I gotta jump. Okay, so here's what I tell people, or here's what I was saying earlier. And dude, this has been great. I am like, this was such an awesome experience. Number one, I wish I wouldn't have gotten off late, because I would love to have started this at 10:30, and because I think we jumped on finally after I fixed. Fox walked me through the thing, but I could keep going. I could stream 6 hours of this shit, because I guarantee you we got months of content in the 3 minds going on right here. Months of content. We could tell you. We could just talk about traffic stops. Then we could just talk about and we could talk
side approach all day.
Exactly, and we could talk about different things. And that's actually, this has been really good, because this has actually given me an idea to bring the 3 of us, and maybe we'll find some other Leos together where we can actually talk about this. Because I'll tell you right now, and I think SWAT Theory and I know SternalJet with their channels, is while we tell people we're law enforcement, one of the things that I know is that we want people to realize we're just regular people. That's, I mean, and 100%. We have likes, we have dislikes, we have problems, we have good days, we have bad days, we have people that, and we have people that depended on us, and all these different things. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's what this is all about. I mean, you guys. I mean, I appreciate SWAT Theory sharing his story, because that's a tough story to tell about losing not just your best friend but a fellow police officer, and to show that it still affects him today. Listening to SternalJet, talk about, the fact that he's new to law enforcement and some of the things that he's now starting to experience, because there's nothing in the world that my parents did, there's nothing that college did that ever prepared me for what happened when they pinned the badge on me. They're just no. People could tell you stories all day long. You could watch YouTube videos all day long, but until you're knocking on a door of an unknown type of call, and I can't even begin to describe, and these gentlemen know what I'm talking about, to not know if this is it, like, is this the one? And you just get that spider tingly feeling and that type of stuff. That's just weird shit. But
it is.
For a second.
Yeah, definitely.
Just 10 seconds. My current best friend, whose dog I had to block out of the office, otherwise he'd be literally right here in my face. We were walking up a staircase for a guy with a weapon, and it's just like one of those fucking dreaded L staircases where it's up, and you're just fucking there. We're walking past the room, and I swear to God, I love this guy to death. He could be the godfather of my children, but I was ready to fucking shoot him in the teeth, because as we're walking up the stairs, he goes, "Oh, well, if he had a gun, at least he didn't shoot through the walls at us yet." Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
Like, and that's when that set in, like, oh, this is how we die, because dipshit here decided to give this guy a tactical advantage and remind him of this. But no, you're absolutely right. Like, up until then, it's like, yeah, I got this. Just holding the shield. He said that, and this was like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's at that point I was like, oh, this is it. We're taking rounds now.
Oh, I know. Oh gosh, we're our own worst enemies. But
God, I just wanted to punch him in the balls. I'm so mad.
I do want to tell you guys this, and I appreciated it. You guys got to see a raw, just unrehearsed talk of 3 cops, and you know what? As many of you know, I have my good days and my bad days as far as like my language and that type of stuff. But I actually honestly appreciated just the rawness of this stream, and I want to keep it going. So with that, I'm going to promise all of you that are watching this, we're going to be definitely doing more of this, and we're going to be doing more of this really soon, as long as these 2 awesome gentlemen and officers want to come on in. I think it's going to be great. I do appreciate all of you joining us in the stream today. I think we're at 100 likes, which is always our goal.
Nice.
That's awesome. I got to hand it out to Fox for putting this all together, as well as all the other moderators that are been here, because I've noticed that we've had a couple of haters come in, but that's cool. But I want to say thank you. Yeah, we did. I was kind of, yeah, right, exactly. But I want to say, first of all, thank you to SternalJet. Thank you for joining me and taking the last couple of hours out of your day to come on and definitely entertain the followers on this channel. And I definitely want to give you guys a chance to say goodbye, but I want to say thank you to SternalJet. And SternalJet has a Twitch channel. Please head on over there and follow him on Twitch. And I also want to now thank SWAT Theory. SWAT Theory has a YouTube channel. I want you guys to head on over there and, you know, give him a like and a follow as well. You're going to see definitely these two guys again more on this channel, but I'm going to say bye now because I just want to do my bye, but I want to definitely give both these gentlemen an opportunity to say bye. So, Sternal, any last thoughts for today?
Yeah, no, I just want to say thanks for hosting me. It was great to finally be, you know, face to face with you and voice to voice. It was awesome, and also meeting SWAT Theory. Definitely gonna follow your channel more too, and we could always do some collabs in the future too. I have a very early content creation thing. I only have 43 followers on Twitch.
We're gonna get you more.
That being said, I'm a rookie officer and I'm a lieutenant in the National Guard. So if any of you viewers have any questions about military, ROTC, blah 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 blah, you know, being a cop in this day and age, starting it out, definitely field those questions for me.
See, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So that's a great resource. A lot of people don't realize. I do because I do backgrounds, and that is a great to always have someone that you can bounce a question off of, or hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. I'm thinking about going to the military first and then coming out and being a cop, whatever that may be. Sternal could be the person that tells you how to go about that and what are the pros and cons with that. So definitely hit him up and let's help grow his channel. So if you're on Twitch, 1,300 of you are on Twitch following me. Give him some love and let's help him grow his channel because that's what this is all about. Thanks again, Sternal. I really appreciate you being here, man. Thanks, brother. Thanks. And be safe out there. Be safe. All right.
Yeah.
All right, SWAT. Floor is yours.
He's going to keep it simple.
Right. I think he's off.
It'd be funnier if I wouldn't have pushed the mute button.
I know.
Stop fucking trying to dox me.
There you go.
No, honestly, it was a fucking pleasure. Like I said before, I couldn't believe it when you jumped into my Discord, which is absolute anarchy and unrestrained and a little out of control sometimes. But no, I thought for sure you were some clown trying to just like troll me up. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. And then after getting, I was like, holy shit, this is the real deal. And like I said, behind the scenes, we talked a lot. We shared some photos and shit. And like, oh, fuck me, this is the real. And then he had to upstage me, of course, with the fucking helicopter and his photo. And the explosions and the supermodels hugging up against him. And fucking outdoing me in his class photo. So of course that was there. But no, man, to be with all due respect, to be an old man in a young man's game, I've got nothing but just respect for you. Like,
oh, I appreciate that, brother.
I'm getting my 5-year pin this year, hopefully, unless I totally cock something up. But just to see the guys with the gray in their beard and the gray in their hair, it's like, goddamn, just.
I got gray hair already.
Yes, you're gonna get more.
I got like one here, 3 here, a couple here. The missus likes, but you know, again, going back to it, a little bit of hairy do there.
Yeah.
But,
my whole
it's been it's been awesome. Like I had like 60 people on my channel, which is guys I went to high school with and shit, and it's just it's crazy. I've had guys ask, "You going to the YouTube thing full time?" I'm like, fuck no. I'm true to myself. I took this thing to be a door kicker. When someone's screaming bloody murder that needs help, I want to be. Whether it puts me in a hospital or in the dirt, I want to be that guy that kicks the door down that saves somebody else's life, and that's just been my calling from day one. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's been an honor being on here with other guys, especially you, Chris. Again.
Oh, thanks, man.
20+ years in this shit. You're an inspiration to us all. I'll be here when I can. Going back to what you said about scheduling and shit, my shift is 3 to 11, so. I'll be here for like a couple hours for coffee and shit, but then I gotta like yeet myself out of here and go to work because I gotta train the babies. You're laughing, but man, I've had guys do some stupid shit like try to serve a warrant and stand in front of like a fucking 8 foot by 4 foot window, and I'm like, what are you
Yep. No, I know. I get it.
Everybody's got to go home. You got to teach them how to do it safely.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, hey, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, the honor is all mine. Honor is all mine. This is like I said, it's been great. It's been great. And SWAT, please be safe out there. We definitely want to see half your face again.
That's all you're gonna see.
Yeah. But yeah, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna call it. I definitely like SWAT Theory is gonna be going to work this afternoon. I'm going to work right now, so I got to take a quick shower and get my ass in gear and get going. But I want to say thank you again to these two fine gentlemen, two awesome Leos, and we're definitely going to be doing this again. So we'll make a better announcement of it. But yeah, but head on over to SWAT Theory, like I said, head on over to SternalJet, and you're going to see more collaboration. Not just this, you're going to see some gameplay stuff, because I really think the fact that I can play with two other Leos that have the same ROEs that I have will make the game even that much better for us. But thanks once again. I don't want to say goodbye. I want to keep going, but I have to say goodbye. I got to be.
It's dangerous, man. That's wanting to play games. You're going to deal with some guy who's dropping fools, pointing guns, asking you, like, Pizza Hut more, Domino's, and just moving forward. So you might not want me on your squad. But, yeah.
Oh, it's so funny because I actually have to be on duty in an hour and 15 minutes, and I live 40 minutes away from the station. So
yeah, you just do the old horse bath, turn the water on.
I am. I'm
in your locker room,
right? You're gonna see me. Yeah, you're gonna see me doing the car freshener.
The old felony treat, man.
Right?
No,
oh man.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks again, guys. Hey, thank you for all of us joining us today and taking 2 hours out of your day to join the three of us. We definitely all appreciate it. We hit our 100 likes, and we've had a lot of good people come on in and join us. But yes, thank you once again, everybody. I definitely do appreciate it. And yeah, so that's it. I'm going to give you my proverbial goodbye. And I know these gentlemen agree with me. We can all make the world a better place by just helping one person at a time. And that's really,
Absolutely.
really true, because one act of kindness goes a long way. And that's what it's all about. You don't have to be a cop. You don't have to be a firefighter. You don't have to be a paramedic. You can just simply help someone by opening a door, smiling at them, whatever, to brighten someone's day. And it's all on us, because our politicians aren't going to fucking do it. It's going to be us that makes the world a better place. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye and peace. Thanks for joining. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks for coming.
Let's see here. End stream. And